How is it going, guys? Welcome back to yet another video. We are finally back in Florida, so you guys will see daily content coming out of me every single day like we have been used to. Now, again, the crypto market right now is in a fragile state. However, I'm still bullish long term of factors we've already gone over. If you check out the 32-minute long video, or 34, I go over reasons why I'm still bullish on the cycle, but also you do have to understand that there is a possibility that there is no alt season to even come out of this bull run. Now, with that being in mind, of course that's a possibility. However, I see the possibility being more driven towards us actually having an alt season rather than not. But you always have to understand that there is also a possibility that there isn't going to be one. Now, before we get into this video, none of this is financial advice. Always have to tell you guys that. And we are going to be talking about Bitcoin dominance, some pretty unfortunate news about that, as well as Bitcoin itself as it approaches some key support levels that we probably are going to be breaking down below. We'll get into that. So, first of all, let's get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, I believe, is around the $92,000 range. It could be a little lower than that last time I checked. However, the bad news is the chart looks very bearish for short term, right? For short term in specific. And it looks like we could go down to a range of $85,000 in the short term. Now, with that in mind, does that mean the end of the world is here? We've talked about on this channel that we still have yet to get below 90,000. There have been times, even on this channel, when we've looked at the chart and we've seen, okay, it looks like we could approach below $90,000. And the thing is, that never happened. Now, does that mean that this is never going to happen? Absolutely not. There's always a possibility that we could go below 90,000 and enter that $85,000, $86,000 range, which of course, with Bitcoin dominance being so high, would not be good for altcoins at all. So that's something to keep in mind. But of course, long-term wise, seeing the short-term, price fluctuation, I'm not very bearish on that. I know a lot of analysts who are seeing this push down below the $90,000 range are not bearish long-term as well. And these are guys who've been in the market 7-8 years who I'm talking to personally. So with that in mind, I'm not bearish on long-term, but yes, short-term, it does look like we are going to be going below the $90,000 range. Now, of course, that is not guaranteed, but it does just look, doing some technical analysis, it does look like that is a strong possibility. Maybe a 50-60% chance that we actually do find those levels. So do keep that in mind, and do understand that because Bitcoin dominance is so high, and if you look at Bitcoin dominance, it looks like it's actually going to be on the push a little bit higher, around a 2 to 4% increase from where it's currently at in the short term as well. You can see how disastrous that would be for alts. However, we will see how this plays out. If anything, and this is the second half of the video, we're going to be talking about fear and greed with the markets for you personally, as well as convictions, profit rotation, how to properly do that also, because it does have to do with things that do happen in the markets such as this. So again, this is very important to understand when we're talking about what's going on or what could happen within the markets very short term. So let's get into that. First of all, understanding fear and greed within yourself. Fear and greed is what drives markets. We've gone over this multiple times, but in regards to you as an investor, you have to understand how you respond to fear and greed, specifically towards profit rotation. There are two ways that you can rotate profits, or two ways that you can get into a project. The first way is that you get into a project based off of emotions. Most of the time it's due to greed, being promised a 2 to 5x from a project. So you get into that project expecting that alone is simply just investing with your emotions, because you're investing due to greed. Now, if you took the information that someone said, this is a 2 to 5x, you took the information, looked into the project, and you're like, okay, well, this has a lot of good things going for it. There is, it's surrounded by a strong narrative. and you were able to list a couple of things that do show logically that this project could do very well if it's like an undervalued project. So you take that information, you go ahead and look at it, and you make the decision then to go and invest in it. You set your price targets for you to take profit on. Boom, there you go. You've made a strong investing decision within the crypto market. However, if you blindly rush into it, just off the promise of doing a 2 to 5x, you have no idea what the project even does. You are going to feel less attached to the project because you have no idea what's going on. And why is that important? Even if it's a great project, but you're not heavily attached to it, if the project has a decent dip, you're going to pull out almost immediately because you still have no conviction in the project based on the only thing really that you're in that project for is the expectations of high profits. So on a dip, because you know nothing about it and you're only in there just because you wanted to sit quick 2 to 5x, you're going to dip. You're going to go and just pull out of it and take your loss that way. Same thing goes for if you pump a 2x and then it starts to slowly retrace, you're going to pull out because you don't know where the project's going whatsoever. You don't do any TA on it. You don't do anything on this project whatsoever. You're just investing specifically because someone told you to invest in a 2 to 5x project that this is. So that's something you want to stay away from. You want to start doing research on the projects that you might get told about, and then you can determine logically if this is a good project to be in, because what that's going to do is, for example, Aerodrome. I held Aerodrome for years, or not for years. In the crypto market, it'd be years, but I held Aerodrome for a very, very long time because I had personal conviction in the project, doing a ton of research, and I still feel Aerodrome is one of the most undervalued fundamental coins, or whatever the safe coins are. I see Aerodrome being a safe 2 something X coin from here, but I held that coin for a very, very long time until other opportunities came up that I could logically rotate my profits into to potentially even get a better entry into Aerodrome in times like this. So we'll see what happens, but again, it's a project like that I was able to hold for a long time. And during last year, I was kind of just trading in and out of projects, some smaller projects very quickly, because those projects had little conviction of my own. I was investing in those projects because I was promised very, very high gains, though they are very, very high risk. So I'd literally watch my project go pump up 75%, then next day it'd go down 50%. And I'd watch those projects, and as soon as I saw the dip go from the profit increase, I'd pull out. So I'd say the most important thing is simply just to research projects and build logical convictions behind them. Don't build emotional convictions behind projects, build logical convictions behind projects. It's because what that will end up doing is, once you start approaching things with logic in a market where 99% of people are approaching it with emotions, you are going to start to notice bigger and better wins, because your logical convictions are always going to beat those that do not have logical convictions. Those that are emotionally paper trading, they are going to be selling to you. You're going to hold on logical convictions. Others with logical convictions are going to slowly accumulate into projects that are very, very good. And then people are going to start paper handing once they see, the project pumping. They're going to get in, and your gains are just going to keep multiplying because you're in a strong, solid project with your logical conviction. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to just bring that up for any of you who actually needed to hear that, as it is important. It's important to approach projects with logical convictions rather than emotional ones, because in times like this specifically, for me, if I'm in a project that I still see doing very well in 5 months' time, whatever the case is, well then in a dip, why would I sell rather than accumulate more? If you continue to accumulate on dips, you're just getting discounts on altcoins that you've had personal strong convictions on. And let's say you do have a logical conviction, yet the project goes down 50%, and you're still sitting there, and maybe you have doubt and maybe I should pull out, maybe this isn't right. Then you don't have strong enough logical conviction or you just have your emotions tied in with that logical conviction. The goal is to separate all of your emotions from your trades. That is going to make you the most prepared investor. And that's why it's so important to invest with money that you'd be fine losing. Because if you're investing with money you'd be fine losing, then the emotion's already gone. It's easy from there. You just find logical convictions that make sense. You buy them, they dip, you buy more, you continue to hold, you have your take profits in place. You're gonna be fine. That is what you guys need to do with that in mind. I will see you guys later. This has been a good video, just something to give you guys some substance and value on, to maybe start approaching your trades more so with a conviction stance and a logical stance. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys later.